See if I can one-take this. Hello, welcome to the channel. Today we're at a private range, so bear with me if you hear gunfire in the foreground. Today we're going to be discussing the difference in power levels between 10mm ammunition, namely Blazer ammunition 180 grain full metal jacket flat nose, and Liberty ammunition civil defense 60 grain lead-free hollow points. We're going to be using the Glock 40 10mm 6.02 inch barrel in the Glock 40 MOS. That's not that hard. Hopefully the image stabilization does something for all this wind that's blowing the camera around. But seriously, Paul Hero's awesome introductions aside, I do want to kind of match up some ammo, but I'm not doing it as scientifically as he is. I don't even bring my chronograph out here. But I wanted to try these. Everybody knows 10mm standards, like 180 grain. You could get it in hollow points, you could get it in flat nose, you could get it in round nose. Mostly, if I'm shooting steel or at the range, I'm shooting ball ammunition, and I'm shooting something that's about the same grain weight that's going to get the relative same performance for point of aim and point of impact out of my pistol as the defensive rounds I'm going to be using. But I saw these at the gun store. I just happened to be up there perusing the wares, and this Liberty ammunition civil defense 60 grainers, they are some real screamers. I don't know what length of test barrel they're putting it out of, but they're claiming 2,400 feet per second. That's going to be something. I just want to see how it patterns on paper and how it performs on steel. So that's another reason I'm not shooting hollow points out of my 180 grain, because 180 grain coming out at, I don't know, maybe 1,300 feet per second, that's going to hit the steel, whether it's a hollow point or a full metal jacket, basically the same. And like I said before, it's basically going to pattern on paper the same. So I'll set up a target there at 10 meters. I'll see how it patterns. I'll be aiming center mass with the FMJs, and I'll be aiming at the head, and I'll put up some birchwood cases to help me index. I'll be aiming at the head with the civil defense from Liberty ammunition. No, you know what? That's not a good metric. I'm going to put up the same target. All right, Liberty on the right, Blazer on the left. I am definitely no Paul Harrell, but yeah, 10 yards, I don't know. I could probably hold a better group. This one was all over the damn place. I don't know. Well, let's see what it does on steel. All right, I'm gonna hit this steel here at 10 yards. I'll do 180 grain first and then 60 grain next. Rounds each. All right, now for the 60. Started aiming at the 12 o'clock instead of center mass. Common sense had to kick in for me. Generally, I've been pulling all my rounds left since the shoulder surgery, and I noticed that these are patterning low left based off of aiming center mass, and these were patterning high left aiming at center mass. And I adjusted it, so I ended up firing 4 shots of the 60 grainers. Yeah, I've definitely been pulling my shots left. Still waiting on some nerves and muscle to line up and get stronger, but either way, excuses aside, I'm gonna have to review the footage, but I think the 180 grain is just hitting with a lot more authority, while the 60 grain has more velocity, and I'm sure its terminal performance at a hollow point is acceptable. I don't know. I like more standard loads. Whew, that prevailing wind from the landfill's catching over here. All right, so you know how you have the better idea after you've had the bad idea? I could have just loaded these separately, or rather than loading them separately, I could have loaded them in the same magazine, staging them to where I load the civil defense first, shoot it last, then load the blazer first, or last and shoot it first. But I didn't think about that, and I could have used 2 different cameras and recorded the downrange impact and the recoil impulse and kind of size them up. So I'll shoot the 180 grain first, get an idea of the recoil impulse. I don't even know if I'm in frame. Probably should have checked that. I used the gun as a marker. Okay, yeah. So the idea of this, and I'll slow it down through the software, even though I could be recording at a higher frame rate, but I'll try and gauge the recoil impulse shooting off hand here. Could have done this all at once, save some ammo, but yeah, whatever. I'm not even really leaning into it, so. Wish I would have got more hits, but either way. We'll see that recoil impulse later. I got the whole range and frame. It's clear that I need more practice on the 10mm. I do not like these stock Glock triggers, I'll tell you that much.